This week's sponsor, KR Couriers and Transport Limited, are best known as being a Northwest-based company who deliver newspapers and magazines for local news agents and superstores. You'll find all the information within the description. Please give them a follow. Thank you.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Billy Moore podcast, and today's special guest, need no introduction, we've got to the left, ladies first, Molly Meatball McCann, and to the right, Tony Bellew. So we're all here on a different spin, so I feel quite excited that we've got this all set up today. But a little bit of an introduction, because some people might not know who you are, Tony, so tell us a little bit about yourself before we begin.
I'm just an old former punchy boxer, mate, from Wavertree in Liverpool, and that's about the top and bottom of it. Boxed for an amazing club called Rotunda ABC. Well, start and stop at JBC, from there to Rotunda ABC, from Rotunda ABC to the professional game. In the professional game, I've done all right, and it worked out okay, mate. And then now I'm busy with Weapons Down, Gloves Up, and what we're trying to do to help these kids, mate, get them off the streets, and just get disillusioned kids, not just kids, adults, people who are struggling in life, get them into full-time employment. That's where I'm at right now. So yeah, it's gone all right.
Brilliant. So you've had a positive career, so and now you just want to start giving a little bit back to the community.
Defo. I mean,
you're from the South End.
Yes, I'm originally. Yeah, I was born.
How come you never went down? Boo. How come you never went to like the Golden Gloves or?
I was born in Toxteth, raised in Wavertree. Yeah. So yeah, I lived in Toxteth for a bit. I've grew up in and amongst Toxteth, from going to the Rodney Youth Centre to various other places. Why didn't I box at club in the South End? Do you know what? My dad was the one who... I kickboxed in the South End. I kickboxed for Alfie Lewis's Centre of Excellence. We started off kickboxing in the Unity. So started going there, kickboxing, done all right. I got to brown and white belt. So I was pretty decent with my feet. And I got disqualified in the last couple of contests for knocking people down and knocking people out with a punch. I was 12 and I flattened the kid with a straight right hand down the pipe. It was only semi-contact. So that was the end of my kickboxing days. And my dad suggested a boxing gym. At that stage, I was still a little bit plumpish. Plumpish is very kind way of saying still a fat, greedy get. And then I went to boxing gyms, didn't like it at first because I thought it was too hard. Yeah. And I still had this dream I was going to play for Everton Football Club. So as time went on, my dad continued to do pads with me, whether it was in the back of the house, in the yard, wherever it was, or once he was moved out, I'd do them when I'd spend time with him. So yeah, the boxing just took off, mate. And my dad had friends in the North End, his business associates in the North End after he came home. And the first gym I ever went to was Kirkdale ABC. Walked in the gym, done one session. I remember Joey Ainscough being in there.
Joey.
He was in the gym, but it was in a place called, it's like Kirk, it's off it's that long road. I don't think it's Stanley Road, is it? No. It was in like a community centre. You went up the stairs. I always remember going upstairs in the room stinking of sweaty gloves. And everyone was just jogging around the gym. They had a boxing ring in the corner. So it was up the stairs, wherever that was. I'm pretty sure it's at the end of Lambeth Road, on that road. And also Stanley Road, I forget what road that's called, what the police station's on. Didn't like it there, done one session left. Then I went to Rotunda. I remember going to Rotunda and going in the bag. Jimmy Albertina just saying to me, "You've boxed." I said, "I haven't boxed." He said, "You have boxed." You know, when it's a bag like that, it wasn't boxed. My dad had taught me basics. I had a bit of a dispute with him, and he says to me, I said, "Listen, when can I box?" "You don't tell me when you're going to box, lad. I tell you." And I said, "All right, well, you know, just when can I have a bout?" He said, "About 12 to 18 months, you know. If you haven't boxed, you're a novice." And it's all right, sound, thanks. Never went back. Tail between my legs. Went to Stockbridge ABC, walked in, met Mark Kinney, and 4 weeks later, I had my first amateur bout. Thankfully, flattened Rob Beach from St Helens ABC. And then that was it, mate. I never really looked back. Well, 18 months later, I went back to Rotunda ABC, back to Jimmy Albertina with my tail between my legs. And And this time I started boxing straight away. So that's my career, mate. Summed up. He is a vital, massive part of it. Jimmy Albertina and Rotunda ABC are huge part of the reason why I achieved what I achieved in boxing. Without a shadow. If I never met Jimmy, if I never came across Jimmy, I'd have never have achieved what I achieved in my sport.
I've heard, loads of good things about Jimmy over the years.
Great man.
But I'll tell you one thing that I've noticed over the years, that you give yourself an hard time about your weight. You do. I think you're looking in great shape, to be fair.
Thanks,
I don't think you've ever looked to a point where you're overweight and you're fat. But
I always refer to myself as that. I suppose it keeps me in check. When I've just done. I haven't long come back from doing another movie, and that's the first time it's been said in a long. No one's known that, so that's the first for your podcast. That no one knows I've just done another movie. Well, I have. That's why I got in good shape, and I actually had a few abs, which was ridiculous for someone like me. But I've always been referred to as a fat kid. And in my mind, no matter what shape I'm in, when I look in the mirror, I'm always going to be that fat kid. And that's not a bad thing. That just makes me keep chasing or keep pushing to get in better shape. So yeah, no matter what shape I get in, I'm always going to be that fat kid.
So what was it like working with Stallone? Because, your experience, on the first Creed.
Yeah.
Because that was an incredible kind of...
It was a bit surreal at first, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I remember meeting him for the first time and I put my hand out and I was going to go, all right, Roch, and at the last second I reeled myself in and said Mr. Stallone, and he said, don't call me Mr. Stallone, call me Sly. Yeah. Call me Sly, with friends. I'm a big fan of your career. You knew a few bits and bobs, which I absolutely don't believe in a million years he knew who I was. I think he'd just been briefed about two minutes before.
Yeah.
And he was really sound. He understood and respected who I was the minute he seen me punching.
Yeah.
I'd done pads with a fella called Rob Sal, and the minute he seen me let my hands go, he was like, oof,
but haven't you?
He's a problem. He's a proper problem. Yeah. So he respected me straight away. I had immense respect for him. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm a huge Rambo fan. Everyone's expecting this great Rocky story, and I love Rocky. Rambo does it for me, mate. As many guns and grenades and rocket launchers you can get, just keep firing them, it's boss.
I was the same growing up, but I was a big Rocky fan, and when I first met him, it was like, you could tell he had a presence, because everyone sort of became a little bit submissive around him. And because I was just like a cheeky scouser in Southeast Asia, and I was just like, oh, fucking having a little chat with him, and he was like, hey man, you need subtitles to understand this kid, you know what I mean? And that was Kevin, because Kevin's a scouser, Kevin King. Big shout out to Kevin, because I like Kevin. That was a great experience. That was Rambo, actually. So
that's my actual favourite Rambo, because that's the most realistic one.
It was, yeah. It was great to be on. I mean, I've never actually had that experience of being on set with anything, and to be there and to have him as my hero, and kept calling him Rocky, and he was going, this is Rambo, man, this ain't Rocky, and it was like, fucking hell, you'll always be Rocky to me, mate. It was only for you that I joined the boxing clubs. What the fuck's this man saying, man, But yeah, so it's great to actually have the opportunity to meet your idols, you know. So you've got another movie on the go. Great, first for the podcast.
I can't release which movie it is, but you'll soon find out.
It's not on Pornhub, is it?
It's definitely not on that, mate. Definitely not.
That was a bit below the belt down, mate. I'm sorry, but it's a bit of banter. So yeah, so right, what we're here for as well, and the reality is, like, what you bring into the community, because I feel it's, to be fair, I'm going to be honest, I feel privileged to be a part of this team where we can deliver like a lot of positive stuff going forward with these kids, and create opportunities that they can have, like, like that we never had. Well, like the likes of myself, because my role here is about lived experience and consequences, and prisons and all them establishments and mental health and the addiction side, because that's what path people will be going on if they don't get any interventions. And your intervention, you're the director of sports on this. So tell us a little bit about what you're bringing to the table and what you want to, for the future.
I just bring, hopefully, a bit of positivity and a bit of a platform to help get these kids off the street, and hopefully they look at me as one of them, because that's exactly what I am. I'm the same as every one of these kids on the street. I was a kid expelled from school, permanently expelled, excluded, whatever you want to call it, for fighting. And I left school and had nothing going for me. The only thing I had going for me was the two things on the end of my arms, my fists. I had no qualifications, I had no way out, nowhere to go. I'm not going to lie, to some of the things that I was doing weren't the best at the time, and I've got loads of regrets, but ultimately I always knew deep down inside I was a decent enough person that if I worked hard, things would work out in the end for me. And I'm just here now helping the likes of David, who's with us, David Hughes, and Molly's with us as well, and yourself. Just all of us want to push towards getting more of these kids off the street, because it's not like when I was a kid growing up. I mean, I was raised basically in youth centres. I've had the same 5 or 6, 7, 8 mates that I went to school with. They're still my friends now. And I look what we had going for us as kids. None of us really left school with qualifications. Bear in mind, right now, a couple of my best mates are, one is the lead lecturer in Leeds University. He got expelled from school the same year as me. Another one is a fantastic, one of the best journalists in the country. He was expelled the year before me. So it just goes to show you, if school doesn't work out, there is still a way out. Because everyone just believes that, and especially this time of year, that their exam results didn't come in. What am I supposed to do? And they automatically think I'm going to be stacking shelves in Asda forever. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But these kids want a nicer way out, and they want some hope and belief that they can do it. Now, I'm hoping that they look at me and listen, I'm not stupid. Not everyone's going to be a world champion boxer. But believe you me, that's not where it started for me. I worked every possible job under the sun, from being a labourer to working nighttime security, daytime security, a pillar factory. Next, the list just goes on. I'm not tried to be a mechanic. I couldn't even turn a screw properly. I've tried every possible thing. I was a lifeguard for 18 months. Every possible
Red Speedos.
Never ever
Speedo mix here, by the way.
Never ever saved one kid. Never jumped in a pool. I was basically just a glorified cleaner. I was great at cleaning changing rooms, because that's all you do with a hose pipe. So, yeah, I mean, I've had all these jobs, but I just want to get across these kids that just because school didn't work out, and just because you're not academically brilliant, neither was I. There's other options out there we can help you with. There is a career. Don't go down the route of being a street kid, selling drugs, robbing things, stealing, breaking in houses. This is the way that a lot of these young kids are being. It's like glorified now. I remember house robbers, house thieves. We never seen them when I was younger. These dirty robbing house robbers now, the scumbags, they're wearing like a badge of honour. And I'm like, where's it gone wrong? And it's not just in my city, it's all over the country. People are robbing genuinely good people these days, and you're breaking in house and robbing normal people. I'm not saying it's right to rob from the rich, because it's not. Robbing on a whole scale, breaking anyone's home is wrong. But these people, these rats, are now breaking into regular everyday houses and stealing cars, dragging old women. I seen a thing the other day. A kid runs up behind an old woman,
car,
and he runs her. He basically runs her over. The rat, and he'll be bragging about that to his mates. What world are we living in, where these rat bags are?
It's like we had it the other day. So like an 18-year-old kid died on London Road, and he's been, and I know the story because he got battered. He had his bike through on top of him, and then he died of an heart attack. This is an 18-year-old kid on London Road, and it was a friend of a friend who shared it last night to me what happened, and I was like, fucking hell, he's 18 and he's dying of he's getting beat up in the streets and that, you know. And
this is what I'm worried about. These kids just need to be shown there's a different way out, and I believe what we're doing at Weapons Down Gloves.
What do you think it is that motivates people though to commit these crimes, to commit burglaries and robberies and fucking dragging fucking old tabbies across?
Because they see no other way out. That's the top and bottom of it, mate.
But do you think it's drugs though? Do you think it's all the root of it's all drugs? Because I feel it, like personally, like I'm like yourself. So in the force, I've done a lot of things that I regret. However, I always thought that I was a good person at heart. There was never anything like, I was always driven by a fucking substance to do things that I didn't want to do, and I'd always feel guilt after it. But while I was in the grip of it, I was doing it because I needed to fund the fucking habit that I'd developed.
I believe for a number of people that's obviously the problem. For drug addicts, I do get that, but for the vast majority of people, no, they're not on drugs. They just don't know.
Financially want,
just financially want, and they'll get it by any means. And whether that's breaking a moral code, whether that's going down the wrong route, they'll do it because a huge part of what has to pay for this is social media. Because social media these days is fantastic at showing everyone the destination, but it's not great at showing everyone the journey. Everyone sees the destination, everybody sees. So I say this and I've repeated, I'll say it again. I can be on social media and show you the best life in the world.
Yeah.
I can go on there and show you this Boss watch, this good car, my nice house, this good car, my kids in Boss clothes. That's not reality, mate. That's me end. That's the destination. That's where I've got to after years of struggling, years of being skint. I've been skint. I've been struggling to pay mortgages. I've gone into fights in the December, snapped my hand in half in a ring, got me $6,000 to fight, and then I've spent the whole of the $6,000 on supplying the kids Christmas to make sure they have a Boss Christmas. I've got to January and not knowing what I'm going to do to pay the mortgage or get the kids food in. So I've had to go out there and do unforeseen things that I'm not proud of, but I'd do them. If I could do them again, I'd do them. Yeah. But I've done them things to provide with
the moral compass.
Of course. Yeah. But when I look back, I've never hurt innocent people. I never broken someone's house who's a stranger. I wasn't doing things like that. I was doing some mad stuff, but... Yeah. This is where it's gone wrong now. People will break that moral code, that moral compass for anything they want. Yeah. And these kids are now out of control. There's no way to harness them. There's no way to help them. I said before, youth centres is what I grew up in. I grew up in somewhere called the Rec, the Rodney. I went to Artell a couple of times. I went to Action a few times. But these were all youth centres within a 2-mile radius of my house. Some were in Toxteth, some were in Wavertree.
Yeah, the Action was right round the corner from me.
The Action was in Wavo, that was Boss.
Yeah,
so,
the Action,
but that place is destroyed now to put some houses on there. And
seen them, yeah.
That Action saved how many hundreds of kids from committing more dangerous crimes than they went on to commit later in life. But that Rodney saved my life and many other lives in there, and gave us a purpose, gave us something to be looked forward to. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'd be in there.
I think it is like, it's fucking sad that there's no adventure playgrounds like we did when we were kids, and no youth clubs, because I grew up in like adventure, the Venny, we used to call it the Venny, and yeah, we used to play and all that.
I didn't go to that one, but I've heard it was great.
Yeah, and there was somewhere to go. It was a hub, you know, and there's nothing like that no more, is there? There's no hubs, there's no...
Your mates used to love the Blackie.
Yeah, the Blackie, yeah.
Blackie was Boss. But
is that still going? It's not... It is. I think it's going as like sort of like... Cause my brother goes there, he does a few plays there, and they do a few shows in there.
I just believe you need to give these kids something to look forward to. That's just the top and bottom of it. And what we're doing with Weapons Down, Gloves Up is just an extended arm of what the youth centres used to have in place. Somewhere where they can come, somewhere where they can benefit from. Like, youth centres, okay, you go there, you have fun, you do sports. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to get kids into full-time employment, because these kids are going to become adults. And when they become adults, this is when the trouble happens, because, like I said before, social media, they all want something that they all see through social media. I've never seen it so bad. You wouldn't believe some of the things I see. There's actually a place, right, this will make you laugh, that people go to that are cut half a jet off to look like they're going to go on a private jet so they can take a snap picture. There's a place like that. There's a place that you can go to and take a picture like you're getting on a private jet.
This is narcissistic behaviour then, isn't it?
This is the world we're living in. This is the portrayal that people want to portray. I'm going on a private jet. I couldn't give a shit if you're going on EasyJet and you stuck your ass in the back and
it doesn't matter, does it? Yeah.
Does it? What the difference between that? No. What's the point, you know what I mean? Who cares? But this is the world we're living in. It's the world of false behaviour and false portrayal of exactly what it is. Like I said before, I could show you the best side in the world.
And that's...
But the reality is, Bill, I wake up, right, and there's a shitty nappy in the room because the baby shit the nappy up, and it stinks. And I've got the 13-year-old knocking fuck out of the 15-year-old, and the 9-year-old on the 13-year-old's back trying to choke him. And then I've got my bird screaming at me to help sort this problem out, because, you know, where have you been? Because you've been out all day.
I'm in that world, I'm in there, yeah.
And people will go, fucking hell, he's got a hard life, hasn't he? What side am I going to show you? I'm going to show you the Boss watch, the Boss car, or the clothes, or the money. No,
or the shitty nappies.
I'm going to show you the shitty nappies and the fact that my bird's giving me hell because I'm not there enough to help at the minute because I'm busy doing what I'm doing. And then the 13-year-old's been belted up now by the 15-year-old because he's come back and he's had enough now. He's chinned him. So what side do a show? Do a show reality or do a show what everyone wants to see?
And that's something that we can point. That's like something that I've been doing with the young kids that come along. You know, the image orientation. You know, what you wear is not like what you've got to fucking like become, because it's all about the Moncler, the Givenchy. Everything is designer labels, and it's not fucking cheap, is it? You know, and what you do to get it, it's like what you've just said it there. So where do you go? You know, there's county lines, there's drug dealing, you know, committing fucking, you know, knife crimes, let's say, you know, and robberies. You know, people don't realise that if you're going to fucking stab someone or shoot someone, you know, there's a consequence. No, but you don't think first before you do the action. You know, and who's asked what you've got, what you're wearing, or if you get or if you get a picture taken by it, yeah, that's cut in half. You know what I mean?
It's mad, mate. But
or you're in a pair of blue Speedos.
We need the world and the kids to see life for what it really is. I don't just be happy, lad. Just give out some decent positive vibes, and then I promise you it will come back to you. The one thing that I've learnt more than anything is, and I've been around some of the heaviest fuckers you could possibly imagine, and some dangerous people, and I always think all these people try and find peace of mind, and all these people out there who have found peace of mind of someone else's misery and wrongdoing, trust me, their misery and their badness is going to find your peace of mind. It will come round in the end. So karma is a fucking horrible thing.
Yeah,
so
fucking out.
Tell me about it. It will come back to you in the end. The bad you put out, lad, it will come back. So just give out goodness. Be nice to people. No one's been given nothing for nothing. No one in the world will give you nothing. Even while you can go in the shop and win a lottery ticket and win the lottery, you still got to go in there and purchase that ticket. That took effort, that took belief, that took whatever it took for you to buy that ticket and do it. No one in the world gives you nothing for nothing. Don't hate no one, mate, because as I say, that just doesn't happen.
What do you think we need, right, as weapons down, gloves up, to continue like bringing like these opportunities to kids?
I just want the companies and the governments to understand.
Is it CRS? Is it CSR? Is it?
The CSR, I know there's this Violence Introduction Partnership kind of thing. David, when he comes in here, which he should be in here with us right now, but he's not, he's sitting there watching.
We'll get him on, we'll get Dave on. Dave's
David
there.
knows the things that we need to say, and Molly with us as well. We'll work it out, but do you know what we need? David's taken on so many kids into DTHUs and he's given them a chance. His actions speak louder than any words that I can say.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that I want to say. But ultimately, I want other companies to come on board and say, now, I'm not asking them for any favours. I'm not asking these companies out there. I'm not saying, I want your money. I'm asking you to come on board with us and lower your age in your company. If anything, I'm trying to grow. Well, I'm growing your company. I'm not asking you for anything in return. I'm trying to give these kids a chance.
Yeah.
We sat down in a meeting not so long ago, and there were some of the biggest companies in the whole of the Northwest, some big companies and directors out there and everything. And I argued of why aren't you employing more Scousers? And the Section 15 that's going on that isn't in our city, I believe we will get it put in place, because I won't stop shouting from the rooftops until it is in place. Now, Section 15 just means a certain percentage from wherever this big build is happening. It's a percentage from that city builder. So right now we were building a new stadium in Liverpool. Why isn't a certain percentage of Scousers? Because in every other city it happens, in London, Manchester, Birmingham. Section 15 goes on in all these other cities. Why haven't Liverpool got Section 15? And I said this to a couple of the heads in this company. He went, you know why, Toe? He said, because we haven't got them skilled enough. I said, well, fucking skill them.
And that's what you can do. That's what they do here at DTUs, isn't it? They skill and train them.
We're skilling people. We're doing as much as we possibly can. Like I said, I know it's somewhere around about 88 kids off the street into full-time employment, and that's all I got involved with David nearly 18 months ago now, since I met David for the first time. I won't embarrass you with how the meeting came when we first came across, but I turned up with a big gold chain hanging out of a t-shirt. I was highly embarrassed. Johnny Wheato, who introduced us, let me walk into a meeting with a chain hanging out that I didn't even know I had this chain hanging out, Mo. I swear to God. I ain't getting on no plane. But anyway, I turned up this chain, highly embarrassing, but we laugh about it now. And I've been asked to be part of a lot of different organisations, whether you want to call them partnerships, whether you want to call them foundations. I must have been asked to be part of 4, maybe 5. And every single one of them, I rejected them and said no. And he said, and the response from some of them were, some of these people were like wealthy people. And I was like, what's the end game? Yeah. And they were like, so you get them in. We got them for 6 weeks. And at the time when they were coming to me, it was like, we get $9,000 a kid. We have the kid for 6 weeks and then we let them go. And there's still some left on the pot, and that's what we do. And I went, but all right, that's all well and good. You're getting your $9,000 for your kid, whatever. I said, what happens to the kid after the 6 weeks? And he went, we've done our job then, lad. And I said, what do you mean?
We talk about that, don't we?
I said, what do you mean you've done your job? And he went, well, we've done our job. We've had them for 6 weeks, and then we moved them on. We let them go. We get the next group in. And I said, but if anything, lad, you've just done the kid more harm, because you've just shown him there's better things to life, there's more to life, and then you've just thrown him
Yeah,
back you've just thrown him back into the hole where he's come from.
There's no hope then, is there?
I said, you took him out the hole and then you put him back in it at the end of it after 6 weeks. And he went, no, but we've done our job. And I said, you haven't done your job, you've made it worse, so I don't want to be part of that. When I sat down with David, my response, my thing was quite simple. I listened to everything David said, and I just said to David at the very end of it, David, what happens to the kids after it? And he said, I can guarantee them a full-time job. And I said, you're telling me you can guarantee 100% these kids full-time jobs? And he said, so I promise you they get a full-time job. And I said, sound, I'm in. I don't need to do anything else. And then for the first 2 months I was just involved in how we can help get this word out, and we got it out. It flew out. We got loads of kids coming, jumping on board the programme and the initiative, and it was great. So it's now just about growing it and making more companies aware, because DT Hughes have took on so many kids and given these kids opportunities. You're at the point now where you can't just expect one company to be run by all these kids. It's impossible. You need other companies and I need these kids to jump on. I need other companies to jump on and go, do you know what, we want to take 10 kids off you. We want to take 20 kids off you a year. That doesn't have to necessarily be stuck in Liverpool. You could be going here, there and everywhere. There's that many construction companies in this city. There's no reason why we can't do 1,000 children in the next 2 years. There's no reason whatsoever. There's enough work going on in our city. There's enough companies in our city. And with the council's backing, which we should have had from the very get-go, there's no reason why we can't get 1,000 kids off the street.
And you know what, right, I'll be honest, before I met you, I had this sort of preconception of like, oh, he's fucking big ego and all that, right? And we sat in that room next door to this, and I listened to exactly what you were saying to these big companies that were sitting in that room that day. And he emphasised and he understood that your motive was quite clear, right? And I've seen a different side of you. I'm pretty fucking good at judging before I actually meet anyone, to be fair. So, you know, put my hands up to that. I'll just judge on what I fucking read, you know what I mean? But then, when you spoke about, which I totally am on board with, is the aftercare. If you get someone a job, you get them a job, you get them through the training, the boxing, get all the discipline, a little bit of rapport, we'll build a trusting relationship with people where they're sitting, but there's nothing more daunting than coming into a room of young kids, old up, scallies, sitting down with people that they don't know. So initially you get the boxing program in place, you have a laugh, they build up the self-esteem, build a bit of fitness at the same time, and then we moved them on to the education and the employment side. But then it's the aftercare where you were talking about, which I thought which was quite nice today, to be honest, because there's not enough in place. Because if I got a job as a young kid, then and then they said, all right, that's it, you're done, our job's done, see you later.
It's only half the battle.
When I get paid my first wages, if I have a little bit of a breakdown with a girl that I'm with, or a few feelings going on, or my mum's fucking kicked me out, and I've got a bit of wages, you know, the first thing I'm going to do is resort back to like the problem, which is not the solution, because to me I think it's the solution, but it's always been a problem. So I'll pick up a drink, that'll be a gateway drug to taking other things, and then right, I'm not going to work because I can get up late. So this is where the mentoring, I think there's a bit of a mentoring system coming into play, where that funding needs to be like assessed as well, where you can go, okay, so what do we do? You got the job, how do you get your first wages? What do you do when you do that, and how do you carry on in life, and how do you keep the fucking job? You know what I mean? How do you keep it without having to fall off fucking the path that we've offered? Because that's easily like that can easily happen. And so I don't like all that where you go, we've got a few quid here, we'll get the kids in, and then we'll swerve them, but we're alright because we've got a fucking bill.
You wouldn't believe the amount of foundations and things that are going off the back of that, of listen lad, we're getting this for each kid, and they just spin it, and then I'm like, really? I mean, really, is that what it's all about? An extra couple of quid? But I don't know, these people will justify what they're doing by going, well, we are seeing the kids for 6 weeks, we are working with them. I get that's great, what you're doing for 6 weeks, but what happens after 6 weeks? That's all I'm interested in, because there's no point in showing a kid there's light at the end of the tunnel, then you know what, blocking the tunnel off when he's got through it. I'm
putting one thing out, no one takes a penny out of the pot here. You know, it's not bad. Like fucking Santa, you don't need to line your pockets. Molly doesn't need to line his, and I certainly don't need to line mine, because it changes your motive, you know, and your agenda's not clear. So I think it's
I understood when I got involved.
Yeah.
I understood when I got involved. The best thing that's happened since doing this was the first kid who come on. He come on with a tweet I put out. Kid was sitting in a living room doing nothing with his life. Kid's now working for DT Hughes, and I think he's a gang leader or something like that. He's got kids off 30 plus grand a year. Good on the kid, mate. Brilliant. That was the best buzz I had for ages. Just seeing him from sitting on the couch, not doing nothing with his life, and things like that. So, you know,
was that the reward for you?
Massive, huge. I'm just made up for the kid. Good on him. You know what? And then imagine how many other kids he's going to tell.
Yeah.
So he's going to come out and go. And imagine the lads who, when he goes back home, he sees and they go, "What are you doing now, lad? How did you end up getting what you're doing? What happened there?" And he just goes, "Well, I seen him put out this tweet. I looked at it and went, you know what? I'll have a little go. What have I got to lose?" That's all I'm asking these kids. What have you got to lose? That's all you're asking them. Kid, what have you got to lose?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, okay, if it's not for you, it's not for you, Sam, but you've got nothing to lose. Just come and spend a few weeks with us and see how it goes. See, you know, go to work, get your CSCS card, then go and spend a couple of weeks crafting, a couple of weeks working. See what it's like to get a wage in your bank and no one chasing you, lad. Yeah. See what it's like, see what it's like to just get an extra couple of quid and you've done nothing wrong today in that though. Because there's so many out there, like I said, our city has got more neets than anywhere else. Now, neets are the kids who leave school and don't do any further in education, get a job or do anything, they just disappear off the radar. Yeah. Why is my city, one of the smallest cities in this country, got more neets by anywhere else, by everywhere else in the country bar Haringey in London? There's only one place with more neets than us in the whole country. That's not right. Yeah. Manchester's probably 2 times, 3 times the size of Liverpool. Birmingham is 3 or 4 times the size of Liverpool. London on a whole is huge compared to Liverpool. Is a tiny little city. It's small. Why have we got so many kids that just fall into that path? It needs addressing, but as I said, mate, we can go on and on and on. We go back and forward. Most important thing is we need a council that believes in what we're doing. Now, we've shown with, okay, they might say it's small numbers up to now, but we've shown what we do works. So, you know what I do? Help us, back us. I'm not asking for your money because we've got money. We're doing it. We'll find a way with the funding or whatever. I'm asking you to identify the kids. I'm asking for you to let them know that we're here, because right now they're not helping us enough. And then also for the council, I'm asking you to put in place this Section 15 in our city. That's what is the most important thing that needs to be put in place. We've got that building, that stadium being built on the waterfront. It needs building by Scousers. It needs building by the youth of our city. That is the most important thing. I want to see people going in that stadium and going, you know what, I helped build that. How amazing would that be? I would love to be one of them kids and go, I'm sitting here in my season ticket, I helped build this, you know what? I put the line in. I was working for DT Hughes doing this. Why are these jobs being outsourced to Manchester? Why are these jobs being outsourced to London?
Yeah, you hear a lot of like out of town accents, don't you?
The M62, it's chocolate coming into Liverpool. 6 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, chocolate coming in. You've got to wait 10 minutes. Nothing going out though, is there? No. Nothing going on. You fly out. You can fly out Liverpool.
You'll get the comments. Fucking people say.
You say what you want, but I'm not.
A lazy fucking bastard.
Say what you want. Call us robbing bastards. Call us this. Call us that. Call me whatever you want. I'm stating facts. These aren't opinions. These are facts. Section 15 is available in many other cities. Why isn't it in place in mine? That's the top and bottom of it. Brilliant. Get it in place. It's a disgrace that our city is not. The pound spend should remain as much in our city as possible, because every other city's on it. Manchester's on it, Birmingham's on it, London's on it. So the pound spend basically means if we spend £1 million and we give £1 million to these kids, or let's just say we break it down to £1. We pay a kid £1. He goes to shop. He spends 20 pence in the sweet shop. He goes to a restaurant, he spends 40 pence in the restaurant. There's 60 pence that's going to stay in our city out of that pound that we've given to work. And if we can regenerate that money of that pound spend within our city, then we're doing so. Our city will grow stronger. But at the minute, we're getting weaker and we're falling behind the other cities because the pound spend doesn't remain in Liverpool. What it does is everyone from outside of Liverpool, from Manchester, London, Ireland, Birmingham, they all come into Liverpool. They all get paid off our Liverpool money, and then you know what? They go and spend it in Manchester. They go and spend it in Birmingham. They go and spend it in London. And we don't keep any of the money here. No. It's just coming. They're all coming and taking it, and then they're all fucking off with it. And it's not right. Our city's got to be looked at.
A lot depriving a lot of our
deprivation, mate. The cycle of deprivation that's going on in Liverpool is wrong, and it needs addressing. It needs addressing by the council. It needs addressing by the government. It needs addressing by everyone, because for far too long now, this government has shit up on us, because everyone north of the Watford Gap they think is a tit. It needs addressing, mate. That's exactly how it goes. I've had the clown in Rishi Sunak, whatever his name is. he took millions and millions of pounds out of my pockets and I've come from nothing. Millions of pounds. Now, I can only imagine what he's taken from the likes of AJ, what he's taken from the likes of Molly, what he's taken from the likes of Tyson Fury. Why was boxing completely forgot about during the pandemic? They never gave a single penny back to grassroots boxing, and if they didn't give nothing to boxing, I can guarantee they never gave nothing to MMA, mixed martial arts.
I had to fly and moved to Dublin in the lockdown because our city shut down. Like, I couldn't even stay here and train. I weren't even
professional fighting allowed to train. How was he allowed to take millions of pounds from the likes of myself and other boxers and not give a penny back to grassroots boxing? He took it when the pandemic hit. He gave every sport. He gave fucking BMXing millions of pounds. All right, I'm not against BMXing. My mate's dad was doing it, skateboard and all that kind of stuff. It's a brilliant sport. But I'll tell you something, you don't get 1/10 of what we donate to this country. Outside of football, I would say boxing's probably the biggest payer to the tax system outside of all sports.
Oh yeah, it's like
I would say it's up there.
Gladiators, isn't it? It's like fucking,
at the end of the day,
goes back from the
you just go through the boxes and look at the revenues or what we generate. So let's just say Anthony Joshua fights, the whole revenue he generates 60 million quid. 60 million quid in one night. I don't know of another sport bar in Premier League football that does that. I just don't know. I've generated 20 million pound, 30 million pound gates in boxing. Pay-per-views, 30, 40 million quid. Pay-per-view money coming in. Now, how can this government not give back a penny? You're good enough taking on me though. I'm not asking for it back for me. I just want you to see support the kids. Support the grassroots. Because boxing in this country has been a major global sport. MMA is now coming in and doing massive things. I'll tell you something, mate, I guarantee you, he taxes every MMA fighter absolutely fortunes, but you're not going to give back and keep them growing. So our country's just a bit of a mess at the minute, but I don't know anything about politics, and I'm not going to sit here and claim that I do. What I do know is I know when someone's having the kicks off me, and that's what our government's done here.
Yeah, it's fucking loads down to social engineering, isn't it? With fucking
that's enough nonsense for me. Like, come on, you got to get on to Molly.
Yeah, Molly. Yeah, thanks, Tony. Appreciate that, mate. Really enjoyed what you had to say. So, how are we, Mol? Fucking great to have you here anyway after all that.
There was a palaver of me getting here, but we're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Chills out now. Relax.
Taxi driver just nearly got a triangle.
The elbow thing went to
Give us a brief backstory. We know a little bit about you, but we'd like to, because there's I tell you what, I watched that BT Sports documentary. Fucking blew me away, and it was you know, I've sat down and I've had a podcast with you before, and we've identified a lot with what's been going on in both our lives. We've got the similarities, which is great because we can talk all day on that stuff. But actually seeing that BT documentary, and when your mum and the city and the family and everything about it was fucking like it brought a tear to me, to be honest. And I think it obviously opens you up a little bit to become a little bit vulnerable when you were on that show, because you were quite upset in some areas. But give us a little bit of backstory and tell us a little bit about why you've got involved and what you're bringing to the table here with this.
Come from Norris Green, from both parents who were drug addicts, and was in and out of the system growing up. Didn't have a very stable life at all, but what brought me stability was sport. Like Tony says, community centres, youth centres, grassroots boxing, karate and kickboxing and Thai boxing, all of the combat sports kind of saved me and where I was at. And obviously my mum, when you grow up in as a recovery baby and you're always around people sharing their emotions and sharing their stories, you just learn to be honest, and there's something that I'm not ashamed of being, and that's honest. So for me good, for me bad, for the hardships or for the good times that I've had, I shared them. And like when we go back to Tony saying I'm going to show you the hard times or the good times, I show everyone the good times because I've earned them. But when I'm having a shit day in the gym, when I'm crying at night because my body's that broke because the lads have thrown me into the wall and it's painful and it's just fucking, I've had enough of paying the tax, man. Like everyone will know that, you know what I mean? But the reason I got involved with this was, I think, more through you two than it was before I met David, but I see it on your social media. I weren't sure if it was after I just done your podcast, but I thought, how can I give back to where I'm from? Because the city, we say the city, it wasn't the city, it was the coaches within the city is what saved me. So I thought, can I do that? I'm now at a point where I'm a role model for people in certain ways, or I've got a lot of traction and spotlight on on me at the minute, so I want to try and deflect it off me and put it where it needs to go. So David actually, we were speaking about how can I come on board, and he was like, well, why don't we make it a bit of an ambassador? So I've gone to a meeting with him and I'm like, yeah, okay. So I've sat down and he's like, well, if I can give you this sponsorship when you fight, I was like, no lad, I want to be youth engagement officer, and just reeled off this whole job description on how I wanted to get involved. Like, I've got a degree at Liverpool, John Moores University, I can coach, I can teach, I can do flying elbows, I can do it all, do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
You can write as well?
I can have a go, yeah, I can write books, I can draw, but yeah, I spoke to him and I just said, like, I think that I can be the twine that weaves in between everything and can speak to the kids, can go into these big meetings, can stand on a stage and speak and just get people bought into what we're trying to sell. And I can only echo what Tony's saying, and like, I must get a million people. Everyone can see me and Paddy in the MMA world are trying to do a lot for the community. So we get so much come at us about charity work, but you can only kind of do one thing because you don't want to like dilute the message. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, right, I've just got to completely commit to this kind of thing, and yeah, that's it. I just want to, obviously boxing was a massive part of my career. I started with amateur boxing, I only moved on to MMA because my weight didn't get added to the Olympics. So I still train boxing 2-3 times a week at the Rotunda gym, and I will try and bring on MMA, not with the next cohort, but maybe with the ones after. I wrote up a whole fucking curriculum, didn't I, David? Like, I'm ready, like, from session 1 to session, the last session, like, I want to bring, where I've travelled the world, like, I've literally, what have I done?
You've done everything, yeah.
No, I've done everything, but like, I've been to Africa and what do you do for free? What's it called again? I can't.
Volunteer?
Yeah, sorry, I've had one of them days. Volunteer.
2 watches on today.
I came with 2 watches on, yeah.
Fucking big time.
Yeah, I've been out there, I've seen how that culture works. I have no equipment, do you know what I mean? And I was told, right, you've got to teach kids how to do a Cruyff turn on football when all you've got is mud, do you know what I mean? So like, I can create something out of nothing. And what I was taught was different ways of communication. And our kids, and when you're from a impoverished area, they're not going to articulate the same way. That you don't want some fucking Tory stiff coming at you from...
No, definitely not.
Like, I don't know, Essex, or I shouldn't say Essex, but like Suffolk, or somewhere like that, do you know what I mean? Being like, well, maybe you should try it, and then fuck off. Like, let me speak to someone from where I'm from, who's been through what I've been through. So I want to bring a different spin on it, like, where the kids can talk about the feelings, where I can identify, right, I think they're going through that, and I'm not the most girly of girls, but I can put a woman's touch on something that it might have been lacking, do you know what I mean? And my heart's in the right place, to be honest, and I don't want to take anything from the initiative and what they've got going on. I just want to keep on pushing forward, and I'm lucky to be in the MMA world where it's very open, so kids literally come from fucking everything, and everyone's mind is open, and there's not as much homophobia or racism or gang culture and that, because everyone's just, you get humbled every day in the jiu-jitsu and the Thai boxing and the boxing and all of it, that you don't tend to be that much of a knobhead. So I'd like to help bring that, and obviously keep up with the boxing where I can.
Brilliant. So what's your plans for the future with the UFC? Because that was a fucking spectacular win. I remember watching that meeting, and I was like, wow, you know. And I said to you after it, didn't I? I said, I thought you.
Came and watched me train.
Yeah, and I was thinking, she's fucking. You were throwing that many punches. I was saying she's going to be gassing in a minute. She's going to be getting fucking strangled out here.
Fucking run them Everton Hills fucking 3 times a week. There's no chance. But the goal, if I can't be the best in the world, then I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
No disrespect to a lesser promotion, but I'm in it to be the best, and if there comes a point where I can't be the best, then I'm moving on to boxing. And I've already had to chat with him on with Eddie, and that'll be happening, because that was my first love. But I genuinely believe by next year I'll be fighting for the belt, and I believe me and Paddy, and if Darren stays in Liverpool, then I believe we can bring the UFC back here, but it's really good to see the participation rates elevate. So do you know, like when you watch Wimbledon and Hedman used to play on Murray on the Monday of Wimbledon, all the kids are being like Sevy Park playing or whatever, or wherever you could go to. You kind of see that now with us. So my training partners teach the kids class on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Now I know if I fight on a Saturday, the kid, like, they're making money on the Monday, Wednesday and Friday, do you know what I mean? Because the kids are coming in and they're paying. And I'd literally say when I boxed, I weren't allowed in gyms. It was like no, and I had to fucking just keep on knocking on until they let me in. But in an MMA gym, a class can be 50-50 or 60-40, so it's mad. There's the order that they're getting, there's no the cut-off's not the same, and the blocks that were once in place aren't so much in place because the likes of your Jane Couches or your Tasha Jonases or your Mees.
Less barriers now.
Yeah, we've fucking kicked the door in, you know what I mean? Yeah, and just showing the blueprints there to have a go. And I think if you can handle the adversity, what's the good thing about the boxing and the MMA and the physical side of this course is if you learn how to handle your adversities in the ring or in the cage, every day when you're given a question that you would normally just flip on or you wouldn't be able to break down and understand, and you're learning to deal with like pressure and struggle, and you're not responding the same way, so you're changing the end of life, you know what I mean? So that's a positive, and yeah, and then it'll work on to them getting a job and all that. So.
Brilliant. That's something that that's the end goal, innit? Getting jobs, right? So we've got a couple of guests yet, and Dave.
Shall we move and give them a mic?
I know. You need to come over here and talk.
Right, so we have Dave. This is Dave who runs DTUs, and then we've got Speedo Mick Dave. Speedo's actually.
He's not going to get his kicks off today.
No, but Mick's actually big shout out to Mick because he's actually supported like Weapons Down, Love Shop with charity walks and donated some of the funds, which has helped a few of the kids. So Dave, you can talk about that as well as Mick, because you were talking about the other day, but what the money. Well, come over here, lad.
Come on.
Fucking hell. So Dave, I know you're talking to your phone a lot, but you need to talk into this mic. So do us a favour, tell us.
She's needing table already.
I'm ready.
She's just not the table out.
Tell us a little bit about what you're bringing on, what you want to.
I'll let you look at it as well, so you don't have to go more. Stop sweating.
Go on, Dave. There's the mic there, lads. Be sure.
Okay, so yeah, I'm the Director of Employment at Weapons Down Loves Up. So my background is civil engineering, and I've got a company site Safe Traffic Solutions, and a family business which is DT Hughes Contractors. So we're a large civil engineering company within the Liverpool City region. And so we employ between the both businesses around 300 plus people.
So that might take.
I think
he's winding you up, well, yeah, he's winding you up. Take a breath, I see.
So yeah, I think, as I say, we're a family-run business, so our ethos really is to try and give back to the community where we're operating from, and it's amazing to have people such as yourselves supporting an initiative and the CIC that we've got in Nexus. So I think the goal for us as the family-run business is to bring as many young local people into the business and give them an opportunity as we can. And it's worked. We set up the pilot through Weapons Down Goes Up, and we were awarded the Community Engagement Awards, weren't we, in November last year. Yeah. For the Echo Award, so that was a big success. That. So yeah, I think the goal for us is to continue bringing youth through, whether that's through NEETs, as Tony mentioned before, the youngsters who are in education, employment or training, or care leavers, ex-offenders. Basically we're just looking for unemployed people to get into the civil engineering industry. That was the initial idea, but now we're starting to broaden the spectrum basically, and we're talking to engineering companies, we're talking to one of our strategic partners, Sunbelt, from a customer service point of view, So, and we've got nationwide management services as well, who are a security firm, and they're looking to take people into their company as well, they're a strategic partner. So, at the moment, it's all about getting the word out there, getting as many people involved as we can, raising awareness for what we're doing, because we want people who are struggling to get into employment, who might not have got the skill set from school, to come through the initiative, because there's massive opportunities within the city that people just can't see it. It's a brilliant career, it's a thriving career within the city, with obviously everywhere, but there's a big niche, there's massive opportunities, so that's what this is about here now. Just there's a lot of work in the Liverpool City region. We're here to offer it, we're here to skill people who've got no training and education experience or nothing within what we're doing. And the likes of the Violence Reduction Partnership, it was on the Capital FM or something last week about how much funding that the government have just given to the Violence Reduction Partnership, and Merseyside Violence Reduction Partnership are a big funder of ours. Same with CE Careers, who do our training and education, they do our training now. And Mick as well, Speedo Mick, who's obviously...
But also Speedo, so if you don't recognise this fella at the end...
I never recognise, so when we go to the game, when we go to the match, I always walk out and somehow I always see you. It always takes me a second to go, fucking hell, are you lads?
So tell us, Mick, so tell us a little bit about, push that in, yeah, that's it lad, yeah. Sounds, yeah, it's fine. Just tell us a little bit about what you've been doing lately and what you're bringing into you brought to the table.
Well, yeah, so I went on a little walk, didn't I?
4K.
Not know about that, lad.
6.5 month walk from England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, you know, fundraising basically, and yeah, it was 2,000 miles long when I started, but we miscalculated the length of it, you know what I mean, so that added a couple of 100 miles onto it, and then he added Cornwall in, because they were so fine. It was just great on the 1,000-mile walks, and we were so...
How many miles a day do you think you were managing?
I think it was between 16 and 20, 21, something like that. I never had many days off neither, you know what I mean? I like to push myself, you know what I mean?
Would you sit down and eat or just eat on the move?
Well, generally I'd like to eat on the move, you know what I mean? Especially when it's cold, because you don't want to stop. You want to get in as early as you can, but as soon as it gets dark, it plummets, you know, and I've like, my challenge is not to put any clothes on, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it gets really... It gets painful, man. It's painful, and it's really challenging mentally to walk through that freezing cold like that. It's really, I don't really know where I get it from, but I just know I'm capable of doing it now, and I never ever did for a long time. Listen, as soon as I started talking about this stuff, I just get emotional like that. Honestly,
yeah, but you've raised,
you get emotional with it, mate, because you know, and everything what you're all saying and that. It's all the stuff that you've been saying, so I've already been like getting a bit emotional while I've been sitting over there in the corner, you know what I mean?
No, I kept in. What made you think about just getting your kicks off and just...
Well, because I've got like that kind of personality, Molly. I've got just like a quirky personality, and I got like that, all got lost through alcohol and drugs, you know what I mean, through my addiction. It all went to the wayside, and I never really got very many opportunities to change my direction through all them years, 20 years of addiction, man, you know what I mean, and there wasn't very many presented to me, and this is what you are doing, so I love it, you know what I mean, and people just need an opportunity to change the direction that they're going in, you know what I mean, the young kids, you know what I mean, because it's easy to go to get into the gang culture, and you know what I mean, and to pick weapons up, because this is what it's like family, they start, because, you know, they've probably got other stuff going on in their lives as well, do you know what I mean, they haven't got any direction, they've got no mentors, maybe there's something's happening at home, you know what I mean, and or the, you know, the they've got low self-esteem, they don't believe in themselves, and they think this is the only way forward for them, and it's not, man. There's loads of ways you can go, and this is one of the initiatives that's been set up in Liverpool by David and you know what I mean, supported by yourselves, and I just think it's fantastic, you know, and I'm just eternally grateful that I can be involved in any of this stuff, because it's just powerful, you know, because yeah, man, like I said, I was gone for a long time, and I didn't think I was going to come back. I was in such a mess, mate. My mind was just mangled, you know, and the more I think about, I just can't really believe that I got to stay clean, you know what I mean, because the further I got away from my last use up, the more I thought, the more I realised just how insane I was, you know what I mean. I couldn't make the right decision to save my own life. I literally mean that. I couldn't make, I mean, you know, and yeah, and I did, and the reason I done that is because I got the support, because I went to fellowship, you know what I mean, and I had a couple of people who had found the fellowship themselves, you know, and one was 15 years clean and sober, the other one was 2 years. You know what I mean? And he comes down and got, I mean, Mal comes down and got Mick, and Mick comes down and got me, do you know what I mean? And we went, you know, took me to London and stuff like that, is where I live now. And yeah, and I've just got a life beyond my wildest dreams. And what's happened since then is, you know, I never had any belief, and this is why I'm getting emotional, because I'm thinking about the kids out there who you know, who are picking weapons up, and who are thinking you need to rob to go on holidays and to do all this stuff and get all this fancy, you know, the cars, and you don't, you know what I mean?
The fucking jail though as well, Mick, with it.
And the jail, mate, do you know what I mean? Of course, you know, but it just becomes part of the life, and the longer they're in it, the more difficult it is to change your direction, you know what I mean? So I've completely forgotten my point. But it was a good one. But yeah, so obviously I've experienced that stuff, so I'm in it, and absolutely. So that was where I was at. I found it in the catacombs of my mind there. Yeah, I could get it in there. And it usually goes, when it's gone, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm in a really great position myself, and obviously become a fundraiser in a really quirky way, you know what I mean? I'm running around in a pair of knickers and stuff, and but what I see on my fundraising and stuff, I see people were smiling. I'm not messing around. My son phoned me up because I started going to the games in my knickers, you know what I mean? And his mates phoned up and said, "Seen you now, Phil." I've seen you now, Phil, man. No, man. I mean, women's hooks on that, what's he doing? My son phoned me up and he said, "Listen, you're embarrassing us again." Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, because obviously there was embarrassment and stuff to them when I was using, you know. And I went, "Lad, I'm not. You want to see the smiles on the faces? I was saying they're all laughing, they're all buzzing, you know what I mean? And people are donating, and I've just seen something happening, you know what I mean? And I got asked by a few people going, you know, you've done it a bit longer now, haven't you? Maybe you should just put your pants on and stuff like that. But I never took any notice of it. I've always thought I'm okay. And I thought, no, I can see something positive happening here. And there has, you know what I mean? And I've carried on the journey I was on, and being able to like, through the Speedo Mick Foundation now, which is set up, it's 1,000,000 miles away from the place I was. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I thought I was going to die, and I did. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm here sitting with you.
Changing lives,
you know what I mean? Yeah, and you know, and all this stuff, and there's £800,000 being raised and give out to, you know what I mean, in my knick-knocks. Do you know what I mean? And so this is brilliant. So what we're here for, of course, is to, you know, I'm going to have a little chat with you afterwards as well. Do you know what I mean?
I'll do the walk, lad, but can't go in knickers. I put the goldfish in one of them, lad, it'll disappear.
So it's great to be part of this initiative and stuff, and it's what's great about it is that everybody here is genuine, about the motives, about helping people, about getting the kids out of there, making a difference and getting them into work and all that stuff and making them not just, it's not even the money, it's not the wages they're going to get, it's giving them the belief in themselves that they can make a difference without turning into criminality or do you know what I mean? You get kids in there and you build them up and you watch their eyes light up and you watch the lives change, man, in front of your eyes, and that's what I want to do through the Speedo Mick Foundation. But we've been giving grants out, of course, because of the pandemic. No one was, allowed to fundraise. Yeah. So we changed our tactics. I was going to set some stuff up myself, and we just thought we'd just give. So we've given a few £100,000 up, and we're still giving it out as well. Do you know what I mean? Today, like. So so it's great to be a part of it. It's great to be alive. I love my life, mate. You know what I mean? And I, got all them challenges that I've gone through when I've swam me in beach, shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's just mental. It's just mental. And I'm just grateful. I'm eternally grateful to be a part of the Liverpool.
It's great, Mick, that you're showing that. The kids don't have to be products of their environment. Like I've always said this, I am a product of my environment. I fight. I believe I was put on this earth to fight. And my circumstances determined where I was going. Now, what we can show these kids is that doesn't have to carry on in life. We can show them that your circumstances don't determine. What I've done doesn't define who I am. What I'm doing right now doesn't mean I'm such and such a bit. There's a different way. And if we can just keep getting across to these kids, there is a different way. You can create a lovely career and a lovely life for yourself. With these kids, when you talk to them in the office, down the stairs in the classroom, and you go and you when you get to these kids in the classroom, you can earn up to 50 grand a year. You want to see their heads, they're spinning because they're trying to equate how much is that a week, lad? And the best of it, lad, how many weeks is in a year? And they go, one of them will go like 52, dead quick, and you go, well, there's 50, and don't forget your tax and stuff like that, lad. You're getting a bit ahead of yourself, I said, but ultimately, lad, if you're earning 50 grand a year, I can guarantee you're taking home 5, 6, 7, 800 quid a week, anywhere in their amounts. And now you say to a kid, 5, 6, 700 quid a week, he's like, wow, really? And no one's going to chase me for that? No one can arrest me for that? No, they can't. No one can touch you because you're doing it the right way. If anything, people are going to applaud you and say, well done, kid. How nice would that feel to take that weekly wage home with you, pay your tax, pay your bills, and then people are going, well done, you're doing something great here. And that's what we're trying to get across to these kids, because you just can do it. It's all within your own powers. Just come see us, come talk to us. Help you, help us. Help you to help us.
When's the first when's the next one start?
The next one starts in the first week of May. I think it lands on like the 5th of May, something like that, whatever that Monday is. I think one of the key things to point out here, so obviously Weapons Down goes up the initiative, it's a growing initiative, it's going to kick on again to the next level. I think what I'd like to get across is the fact that it's not just for kids who are carrying weapons, it's not for the bad kids, it's just for...
It's diversity.
It's all about, we're working with people now from 16 to 19, 19 to 24, 24 plus, and it's just people who need an opportunity to get into work. This is an opportunity to get into work. It's not, like I say, you don't have to be carrying to get involved with Weapons Down Gloves Up. This is all about giving them opportunities for people that can't see it and can't grab hold of it.
Let's say if you're doing well here.
It is, he's absolutely spot on. Like, the best way of saying it is, if my little lad just finished his exams in school, he's 16, now if my little lad wouldn't have got the exam results that he got, which he didn't do a day's worth of whatever it's called, revision, to get them results, he was coming here. I had my own kid, my own son was coming here, so that just lets you know it's not for bad kids, it's for everyone out there, and it's not just kids, we're talking to adults, young adults, just basically people who are looking for an opportunity, people who are looking for a second chance. Might not be your second, might be your third, fourth, fifth chance. You know what, it's another chance. Come and see us, speak to us. We've got the social media platforms there, Weapons Down, Gloves Up. Contact us through them. We're just here to help. And we want to make our city a better and stronger place. The stronger our city becomes, the better the youth of tomorrow, our futures is, then that's the most important thing. The more people that are employed within our city, the better and stronger our city will become. And we are just another branch, another team trying to do better for our city. Simple as that. And hopefully, you know, it goes great in our city and we can show other cities how to do this, because I'm not saying we're the only one city struggling in the country. We're not. Yeah. But I'll tell you something now, we're one of the ones who are struggling the most, and it needs addressing, and I believe we can all make a difference in this room, and we're all in it for the same reasons, to help people. This isn't about money. This isn't about getting things done for us or what this is purely about helping people and helping our city grow stronger. Simple as that. You can dress it up in any way you want. Oh, what's Tony Bellew doing this for? All I get asked is, he must be getting a few quid out of this. Tony Bellew's not getting a single penny out of this. I am just purely here to help. And as I said to you, the buzz for me is that first kid who was sitting on the couch with nothing to do, and from a single tweet. This is why I detest social media and what it brings, but at times it's got good things that come from it, and what that kid gained was an amazing thing from it. One tweet, and he's now got a full-time job coming out of an area where that wasn't to be seen for him. He couldn't see that until this tweet, until he acted upon that tweet. He done it.
And he's done it. We've seen them going from these kids, lads and girls by the way, so coming into the room there and we're talking to them, telling what we can do for them, and all of a sudden then they're going from the room there, from the boardroom where we're chatting to them, you can do this, you can do that, you can make something yourselves, and we're with them in the boxing gyms 4 weeks, and then we're looking at them, we're talking to them in the training academy over the road, going through the CSCS, the manual handling, the first aid, getting the accreditations, and then going through the job interviews, and then watching them in the right version, the hard hats and the boots, and just making sure.
And tell them, everyone thinks that you're just going to be digging holes. Tell them, David, it's not just digging holes.
No, it's not.
There's all kinds.
Like I said before, there's so much going on. There's from the civil engineering, from laying cares, from tarmac and roads to customer service in a call centre. There's so many opportunities yet that it's not just streamlined. It's
not just fellas digging holes.
No, it's not.
It can be girls in call centres, it can be girls managing and directing things. If I'm not going to lie, lad, I think a woman manages and directs far better. I've seen how my house is run, it's certainly not by me. So a woman knows how to tell people what to do far better than most men. So there's different roles, there's different career paths, there's so many different ways to go. And as I said, we are just here to highlight these opportunities for the people out there that just need an opportunity and a chance.
Brilliant. And with that, I'll put all our links within the description. Dave, we'll put Dave's links to the Insta socials, Mick's, Molly's and Tony's. So if anyone wants to get in touch, just feel free to send a message and we'll pass it on. Or just anything to finish off on?
I think from my point of view, I'd just like to thank everyone for backing what we're trying to do. It's amazing to have yourselves supporting us and trying to get back to the community. So and Mick as well, he's doing some amazing things, mate, for what you've been doing. So thanks very much for sponsoring, for funding us on the back here.
Thank you very much. You're making a difference, mate, and you've made a great difference with what you're doing. Doesn't matter what you was, lad, you could have been walking Starkers in my opinion. Doesn't matter. You've done absolutely fantastic.
Well, we're still on the drugs and the alcohol. So that's why we're not doing me laps, you know what I mean?
You've done great, mate, and you've done it.
Brilliant.
You've done it against such tough circumstances as well. You've done it through a pandemic, you've done it through hard times, the weather, the cold, so I couldn't credit you enough, mate. Well done.
Nice one, and thanks. And with that, there's no...
No, it's not about me, it's about the kids.
Mate, everything's about that elbow, I'm telling you now.
No, it fucking doesn't stop.
Boss.
I sit there and the main car looked at me the other day, I got that Saturday night and
He's just being robbed, hasn't he?
He was probably petrified that he was going to get one lamp on him.
Me and I went to war. I went, your brother's in my seat, lad. Excuse me, you talking to me like that? I went, your brother's in my seat, lad.
Someone robbed his
watch,
anyway.
Yeah, someone got held at gunpoint. That's the problems we're talking about. The kids that held at gunpoint yesterday took us watch in the street.
Just one of these. We've all got one.
Oh yeah. But this is the problem we're having. This is the problem we're having. Kids with weapons. But like David touched on, which I've made up about, it's not just about kids with weapons. okay, yes, if you're carrying weapons, you're more than welcome to come in and talk to us, but it's not just about kids with weapons. This is not just about naughty kids, because I didn't want to just do it for naughty kids, even though I was half one of them naughty kids myself. It's not just about them. It's about kids who school might not be for you. You might not be academically the brightest child in the class, but you know what? There's a way out. There's another way forward. There's another way to progress your future, and who knows where it leads. You know, that just give yourself that opportunity by coming and speaking to us.
Nice, man.
I think one final thank you, I think, for all the businesses that are obviously funding what we do here. Yeah. Without the funding that come to us, as you know yourself, this isn't possible. It's not something that we can put on. Obviously, people working in the gyms and the training academy, they all need paying. Everyone needs the wage. So we've got the likes of Sunbelt and DT Hughes and Nationwide as strategic partners, but we've got a number of companies as well as sponsors with the corporate social responsibility, the CSR. So massive thank you to all them. We'll have to make sure that we thank them.
Shout out to everyone.
Yeah, definitely. And again, any other businesses that want to come on board, as well as offering employment opportunities to the people that come to the academy, obviously we're open to talk to you about sponsoring from a CSR point of view as well. So you can do your bit as well. Everyone can do the bit to help us do our bit. And as Tony says, help us help you.
Exactly.
Brilliant. And with that, I'd like to say thank you to everyone, and up the trophies. See you like that.